Welcome to CIT Tech Tips. My name is Matt,
I'm Corey.
And I'm Colin.
and today we're going to be talking about the effects of social media and maybe the metaverse. So, would someone like to start us off today?
Alright, I'll go, I guess. In all honesty, certain social media platforms can have a lot more toxic people on it than others. Like, I think there's a vast difference in the people using Twitter compared to the few people that use something, say, like MySpace.
Yeah.
Twitter's like notorious for having a lot of people, like, say if you just tweet your opinion, you're probably gonna get quite a few people like replying about how wrong your opinion is in a very aggressive way, and sometimes even they'll throw insults your way.
Yeah. I mean, some platforms are like very toxic and have lots of hate going around.
Especially since recently Twitter got free speech back, and I think that's just going to lead to a lot more insults and hateful words being thrown out when it comes to replies on tweets.
There's
Yeah.
also cancel culture,
Oh,
which is
God.
really interesting if you want to explain that.
Oh, yeah. You can explain it if you want.
Basically it's when a bunch of users, right, target a creator when they do even the slightest thing wrong and they try to get them off the platform.
Yeah. I mean, some of it is justified, like the whole like Kanye West thing. We all know what happened with that, and that wasn't a good thing that happened. But some people can like literally just like do anything, and like you're canceled. You know, like Will Smith can slap someone and get like boycotted. You know. Anyway, but yeah, there's lots of toxicity going around, and that's not a good thing. Yeah.
Social media, like Twitter, also like can make people more insecure about themselves because they'll see all these people online that are edited and stuff, and they'll think, oh, why am I not good enough?
Yeah, and that's an issue, and there's many other issues with specifically those like, you know, instant gratification type platforms. Like everyone's implementing it now. Like it started with TikTok, and then it went to, actually no, it started with Vine, and then it went to TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok made it popular.
Yeah,
probably.
TikTok made it more popular, and then now you have things like YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, and it's just like you can't escape it, you know. And it's just like you'll just like sit there for like an hour and scroll on your phone watching useless stuff. Like, who remembers anything they see on that kind of stuff? Like, name like one thing you remember from yesterday that you watched on TikTok.
I remember so there's this dog named Tucker that I like watching, and
Oh,
he's
yeah, I
he's
love
so adorable. I don't.
Budson.
Yeah, Tucker
Yeah.
Budson. I love him. He's so cute.
But see, like, how much do you think you watched on TikTok yesterday?
I don't know. My screen time's been going down less ever since I got a PC, but
True.
I think I watched probably like 20 minutes of TikTok yesterday.
But do you remember any other video?
No.
Exactly. And that's just, it just shows like it's just made to entertain us. It's not like, it doesn't really give us anything. Like, say you, like, even watching a YouTube video would be better. Like, say you watch a 20-minute YouTube video about like some kind of like political issue or like something you're passionate about. Like you'll remember. Like yesterday, I watched a video about this band called Fugazi and how they're like the best band ever, and like I like remember the video because it was interesting and it held my attention longer than 30 seconds.
The thing with YouTube now is I feel like the YouTube videos are starting to just they're becoming so fast paced.
Yeah, and that's the effect of the TikTok and
Yeah. Like, especially with like comedy YouTubers, they just progress so quickly, and it's just joke after joke after joke, and to the point where it's even affecting comedy shows. Like, say for example, Family Guy. Like, the Family Guy episodes nowadays are so fast paced.
yeah. Not to mention the Family Guy TikTok pipeline, YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, like
the
they're everywhere.
gameplay videos with the Family Guy clip over it. That is like, that stuff is dangerous because you can just like scroll and watch like a minute clip of Family Guy, and it's like it's not good for you.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
In your sleep, you'll just hear meow.
Yeah.
Also, every social media platform is slowly turning into each other.
I hate that.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, you might not think it's a bad thing now, but you know, once you get bored of TikTok, what else do you do? Because that's like you get the most, you know, I'm going to go into like biology and like stuff here, but like you get the most dopamine from TikTok. So once you're bored of TikTok, you don't have anything else to do.
And even if you do like turn to Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, it's literally the same exact thing.
Yeah, and you're gonna you like most people don't think this, but they have a dependency on TikTok and all that other stuff.
I don't use TikTok.
Well, I'm glad you are not a victim because personally, I had to delete TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube off my phone because I was spending so much time. And ever since I did that, I've been doing more like human things. Yeah. Yeah, Corey just showed me a study about how TikTok. It says here, TikTok becomes addictive because it releases dopamine to the brain, making you feel good. And once you're bored of that, everything else seems like not even fun. Like, say you like playing guitar, and you're just on TikTok, but you know, when you get bored of TikTok, it's not like you want to play guitar because you get more dopamine from TikTok.
And people think like TikTok can't be addicting because it's not a drug, but other things than drugs can be addictive.
You can get addicted to literally anything. Anything that gives you too much dopamine, if you use it without regulation, it's going to become addictive. So.
Another thing I guess we could talk about is how technology is like advancing. So today it's TikTok, in 20 years it could be the Metaverse.
Yeah, and that's something else that we should touch on because, like, eventually we might not even be able to distinguish between like real life and like no one's gonna actually want to be living in the real world anymore.
Yeah, because it's gonna show you all these good things that you have. Like, why should I be in the real world if I can put on a headset and go to Paris?
And that's the thing, because the more we do this, the worse the actual real world gets. Like, now that everyone's on computers and their phones, nobody's going outside and nobody's talking. You know, once like our parents die, it's just all gonna be like, no, really, because like they grew up without any internet at all. Once the last people that grew up without the internet die, the world is not gonna be a good place.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we need other people that like think like in a way that doesn't require internet.
Yeah, I think definitely a thing that could help is if, you know, people who are gonna have kids, like if I ever have kids, I'm not gonna raise them on technology. You know, they're gonna play outside.
No iPads, yeah.
Yeah, in the dirt, in the snow, like I did. You know, I wasn't a huge like dependent on technology as a little kid, which I'm really grateful for.
I didn't get like anything until I was like 9. I got a DS.
I got an iPod Touch that I could only text people and listen to music on.
I think a big factor of, especially children, being addicted to the technology from nowadays is how the parents handle it. I think
Yeah.
that is a major factor.
It depends on how good of a parent you are. Like, not to bash people who give their kids iPads, but like, you know, when you're a kid, you know, you're like begging for an iPad. I want an iPad. All my friends have an iPad. But then once you actually like go through it, and once you get older, you're like, oh, that really messed me up.
I feel like a good comparison would be like, would you let your kid eat candy breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
No.
So then why are they letting them on iPads
Yeah.
the whole
it's just
entire
like
day?
a dopamine machine, and then they don't want to do anything else.
Especially with the way the internet is, like, there are a lot of things that could scare, say, like a 5-year-old. Like, there are a lot of things on the
Yeah.
internet that could creep them out, or just things that they shouldn't be looking at. Like, there's a lot of things on the internet that could mentally affect children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's these 9-year-olds, and I'll be playing a video game, kind of gory a bit. You know, it's PG-13, and there'll be like an 8-year-old on it in voice
Yeah.
chat.
And it's like all these kids are being exposed to stuff that they shouldn't see. Like, and you go on TikTok, right? And you see all these like 12-year-olds that look like they're like 20. You know, it's like scary. But about like parenting, you know, a lot of like not great parents. Like, I'm lucky that my parents didn't give me all that stuff when I was like really young. Like, I got an actual childhood, but some kids don't because the parents don't know how to deal with them. So by the time they're like 2 years old, they get an iPad, and then that's like their whole life. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't get a phone until I was 10. I did have like video game consoles in the past, but like I didn't get a phone until I was 10. And even then, when I did get a phone, it was an already old one. It was an iPhone SE.
I do think though technology can be very, very beneficial to kids in moderation. Like
True.
like honestly, like I remember when I was 7 going to the YMCA playing Skylanders on the Wii. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was like really fun.
Because it can like also like help other kids get friends and bond, but like not when you're like sitting at home in your bedroom doing nothing.
Yeah, I agree. And also, these technologies, though, they do also have like learning tools for kids, like in moderation. Hey, go on 20 minutes on ABC Mouse on your iPad or something.
Yeah, and you see like those like nonverbal kids that have those like tablets that like let them talk. Like, that's a really really cool technology that like works. And yeah, technology is used for good, but also is like totally like kind of messing up some stuff.
I've also seen some like technology can also have massive engineering feats. Like I saw this giant, I saw a video on this like giant robotic statue of a Gundam, and it like had its own moving parts, and it was just one giant robot that was completely coded. If you're into Gundam or anything like that, I would recommend looking it up. It's a pretty cool watch. Well, it could even support its own weight. It was coded to do like a bunch of like wave hello, do some poses. Like it was technology can do a lot of things.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's like really cool, but with the whole like metaverse thing that's gonna happen soon in VR, like I bet there's gonna be people that like rather. I mean, there's already people that rather play games and be outside and in the real world. So it's gonna be even more, because people will like rather live in the metaverse than live in the real world.
Yeah, I agree. I do think though, I feel like technology is like making life so much better, but also so much worse. Because if you think about it, like we wouldn't have the life expectancy we do now without technology. Like
That's true.
hospitals, medicines, like everything modern we know it would really not be here without technology, because technology is used for like almost everything. And I think it's a good thing that we have it, but I also think like it's a bad thing that some people are dependent on it.
Yeah.
Technology is definitely a double-edged sword. I think another big part of technology is people sometimes forget that technology isn't just relating to computers, game consoles, things like that, because the definition of technology is pretty much just an invention. So that can include, like, say, I'm trying to think of an example. Hang on, I'm brain farting right now, but
New music?
yeah, or like
Well, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
the music
music-
industry is destroyed by the internet.
music is something different. Like technology is like just inventions. Say like boats could be considered technology, cars could be considered technology, like vehicles could be considered technology. Like say tools, like say jackhammer or a pickaxe or a hammer, like those could be considered technology. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just computers and techno gadget gizmos.
True.
Like the definition of technology is simply just an invention.
Yeah. But I mean, all like this new stuff, like the TikTok, whatever. But something that is scary is like, you know, something to say here. You know, yeah, okay, technology like betters our life, right? You know, helps hospitals.
Yeah, I would say it's a double-edged
But
sword.
but are we really happier? Because without it, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe more people will die, but like, I think people would be happier because they'd be doing things that like humans are like supposed to do, you know, and not just sit there. And like, honestly, I bet you people would be more happy living less, but like they're actually living more because you know, you're actually like going out there.
Yeah, I do think a lot of people, though, they want to live long, happy, healthy lives, and a lot of people do with technology, like with the modern medicine and hospitals. Like, I feel like we should go back to like the technologies of like the 90s or so. Like, the hospitals were still there was still good technology, you know, but like it wasn't like everywhere.
Yeah, and I think like we should,
It's either an IP
you know,
or a firewall issue.
I think the way like society is right now is like with all the acceptance and like, you know, like civil rights of people, but like I think that's really great now, but all of this stuff, I feel like it would be more beneficial if like we just didn't have that kind of stuff. Like the U.S. is trying to get TikTok banned, and you know there's gonna be some like new thing right after.
Yeah, I personally think that about like going back to the 90s, I don't think we should. Just because like technology, it's not just used to entertain people. Like people have used computers to like do their jobs. Like imagine like during the pandemic if we didn't have the technological advances we do today. Like imagine if we didn't have stuff like Zoom or Google Meet. How would children be able to get their education? How would people be able to show up for their jobs? Like people would just be locked in their homes with nothing to do.
That's true.
Cause like if we didn't have the computers of 2020 or that time, we wouldn't be able to do like Google Meets and all that. So people could get their education, people could do their jobs, but because like I don't think people give technology enough credit for what it helps people do when it comes to education and jobs. And I think a big example of that is the pandemic of 2020.
I think the pandemic, while technology really helped it, the pandemic also just like messed up everyone because that's when everyone became dependent on technology. And that's not a good thing. Like, think about whatever Spanish flu like 100 years ago. What did they do? They just made their own fun because they didn't have technology.
Yeah, I think during the pandemic too, like I was 12 years old, like everybody here is.
Like,
And,
yeah, our age
I-
group is more
okay.
vulnerable because we're like 12.
So I was around 12 at the time, and I was staying up until like 4 a.m. almost every night on a Discord call, and that was definitely not good for me.
Yeah.
What else do I change?
Or just like, you know, just watching like Gravity Falls at like in the middle of the night or something. Thank you for listening to CIT Tech Tips. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and send us an email at cittechtips@gmail.com.